So anyway, many of you here I know are well attuned to the Constitution. You've probably read it, the Bill of Rights, you've probably read the Declaration of Independence. You know, we all cherish these documents. There are a lot of different people who take different approaches to looking at the Constitution. There's libertarians, there are the so-called liberal lions who like to take a more liberal view on things. There are the, I guess what we call the constructionists, sort of like Scalia, that take a more conservative view. My view, and I don't even know that it's even been dealt with or even discussed, I'm introducing what I call structuralism. My belief is you can have all the words that you want lined up, you can have all the agreements, all the ideas, all the most wonderful concepts together. If you don't have teeth, if you don't have the proper form of a government, then it doesn't matter what you believe your rights are, because they do not exist. When you have adequate representation, when you have a small executive, when you have very few members of the judiciary, that's when you can start experiencing liberty. Today, we're completely on our head. We have extremely few reps. We have lots and lots of members of the executive branch and a judiciary that can barely handle the business that they have, and mainly because the legislature doesn't do it. So anyway, so I'm introducing to you all the concept of structuralism, and I'm going to go into what that means. Basically, when our nation was founded, one of the most intense discussions was, what should representation be? And originally, as they were drafting the Constitution between basically June of 1787 till September of 1787, that's when they put all the clauses in. But the main thing that they discussed, one of the biggest fights, was how many representatives should they have? And all throughout the construction of the time, basically it was 40,000. One U.S. House member for every 40,000. And that was kind of strange, because when you got into the representation of the states, they were very small districts. Each rep had 4,000 at most, and that was Virginia. The smallest state had one rep for every 600 people. So at the end of the convention, George Washington stood up, and he said it was one thing, it was the only thing that he said during the entire summer, and he said 30,000 is representation and 40,000 is tyranny. And that is what they put in the Constitution. Since then, and after it was ratified, they increased representation a few times, and all the way until 1913. And then they froze the U.S. House at 435 members, which is what we still have today. The population has tripled since then. There were about 100 million people. Today, there are about 300 million people. They have the same 435. Back then, each U.S. House member used to have about 215,000 people. Today, each one has 700,000 people per representative. And that's where we are today.